Echoes under the fairy chimneys, Cappadocia and the Earth's pulse. You're listening to Echoes under the fairy chimneys. Today we travel to Cappadocia, Cappadocia, a land of stone spires and underground cities, and we listen for a different kind of force, the Earth's magnetic field. Could that quiet planetary pulse nudge our sleep, mood, or sense of direction? Over the next 8 minutes, we'll walk the valleys, meet the rocks, and consider what science says about geomagnetism and people. Segment 1, Place and Mood. Imagine dawn in Gorame. Hot air balloons rise like bright seeds from the valley as the light slides across towers of tough, soft volcanic rock sculpted by wind and water into fairy chimneys. For thousands of years, people carved homes, chapels, and whole subterranean towns into this gentle stone. The land here is both shelter and story, layers of lava and ash, folded and cooled, then cut by weather and human hands. Local geology matters for more than scenery. When molten rock cools, magnetic minerals inside align with the Earth's field and lock that direction into place. Over time, that creates small, patchy magnetic signatures in the crust. In a place like Cappadocia, where volcanic activity and ancient fires were common, the rocks can carry a complex magnetic fingerprint. For a visitor, this means a compass can wobble slightly here and there, a modest quirk, but a real trace of the land's history. Segment 2, What is the geomagnetic field? The geomagnetic field is the invisible force wrapped around our planet, generated by flows in the molten outer core. It guides compass needles, shields us from charged solar particles, and changes slowly on timescales from years to millennia. Occasionally, solar storms disturb it strongly for hours or days, creating geomagnetic storms that can induce currents in power lines and auroras at high latitudes. But smaller-scale anomalies, the kind rooted in local geology, are different. They're not storms. They're static or slowly varying irregularities caused by the rocks themselves. Scientists map these to learn about volcanic events, archaeological fires, and tectonic structures. They're also the basis of archaeomagnetism, a technique that helps date ancient hearths and kilns by the direction and strength of the magnetic signal locked in when materials cooled. Segment 3, Geomagnetism and Humans, Evidence and Limits. So, can the geomagnetic environment affect human beings? Researchers have investigated links to sleep, mood, cardiovascular function, and cognition. The evidence is mixed and subtle. One line of research looks at circadian rhythms and melatonin, the hormone that helps regulate sleep. Some studies report small changes in melatonin levels or sleep quality during periods of heightened geomagnetic activity. But results are inconsistent. Other studies find no clear effect, and laboratory controls are hard to perfect. If there is an effect, it appears modest and variable across individuals. Epidemiological studies have sometimes found statistical associations between geomagnetic disturbances and increases in depressive symptoms, emergency psychiatric visits, or even suicide rates. These are correlations, intriguing but not proof of cause. Many confounders exist: seasonal shifts in daylight, social and cultural factors, and the challenge of separating direct magnetic effects from other environmental changes that accompany geomagnetic events. Cardiovascular and autonomic measures, heart rate variability, blood pressure, have shown transient changes in some experiments during magnetic storms. Again, findings are inconsistent, and the size of reported effects tends to be small. Proposed mechanisms range from subtle influence on pineal gland chemistry to effects on electrical signaling, but none has been established beyond reasonable doubt. A clearer story exists in animals. Birds, bees, and some bacteria use magnetic cues for navigation. Humans don't seem to possess a robust, conscious magnetoreception system. A few laboratory studies have suggested extremely subtle influences on human spatial perception under highly controlled conditions. But these results have not become widely reproducible. In short, there are hints and patterns. And for some people and some measures, the geomagnetic environment seems to register. But the science stops short of declaring a reliable, universal effect on health or behavior. Local guide, recorded. We've always felt this land is alive. People speak of strange nights, deep dreams when the sky is restless. Maybe it's stories, maybe something else. The stones remember. We listen. Closing synthesis and practical notes. Cappadocia's rocks hold magnetic memories of volcanic fires and long-ago flows. The planet's magnetic field hums on scales both vast and local. Science finds tentative links between geomagnetic variability and human physiology or mood, but effects are typically small, inconsistent, and not yet clearly causal. For travelers and locals alike, the sensible stance is curiosity without alarm. Notice how you feel in a place, especially one as evocative as Cappadocia, but don't leap from correlation to causation. Thanks for joining me beneath the fairy chimneys. If you experience something unusual in a natural place, a vivid dream, an odd sense of direction, a restless night, tell us at email social. I'm Name. Until next time, listen to both the stones and the silence.